Good morning everyone and welcome to Chat with Chant. Now this week, we're in a slightly different location. We are out and we are on the course of what would have been the Wiln 10K. So we're going to do a little tempo run to kind of reenact the Wiln 10K, which would have been on this week, but of course it's cancelled. Any thoughts on your 10K, Tomo?
No, I'm just going out to run. And
this is part of our training for Tissington, yeah?
Yes, it's just a tempo run.
Just a tempo run. So guys, whatever you're doing, enjoy your running. Got a great episode today, going to be inspired by the special guest. And Coach Tim has got an excellent tip today, so something to look forward to. We'll see you later and we'll update you on how the 10K has gone.
Incredible challenges on Make a Difference, but this one has been a decade in the making and is a great example of sheer determination. Paul Robinson set his sights on swimming the Channel 10 years ago. He trained and was set to do it in 2019, but poor weather forced him to postpone it for 12 months. Then lockdown meant he couldn't train at his local pool. But earlier this month, Paul finally achieved his dream.
Now, good afternoon everybody. I am out with today's special guest and quite literally this is a first for Chat with Chant. We're out with the first non-Long Eaton Running Club member, an ex-member I should say, and we're also going to be talking about a different sport than running. Today's special guest is the legendary Paul Robinson.
Hi Ian, hi everybody.
And now, Paul, just tell us very briefly what you've been up to in the last couple of weeks. Probably about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
So 3 weeks ago I swam the English Channel. It took me 13 hours and I haven't done a lot of running recently. That's why I'm out of breath, Ian, running with you. Well, so I'm swim fit but I'm not run fit.
Well, it's a Chat with Chant's a running show. That's why we're not around swim lakes at the moment. Now tell me, Paul, I think this has been a 10-year journey for you to get to do the Channel.
Yeah, so
we're going to go back in time and talk about those 10 years and the journey that's got up to, because it's a fantastic achievement and one that you must be rightly proud of.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
let's keep running. I know. So tell me, let's go back. Where did you start?
2010, I entered a Channel swim relay with two of my friends, and we did that. And you do 1 hour on, then you do an hour, the other guy does an hour. You just keep going round in that loop until you get to France.
So how many times were you in that hour then?
So I did four. We each did four slots, and I enjoyed that. It took us about 12 and a half hours to get across. The other two guys were a lot skinnier than me, suffered with a cold, but I loved it in the sea.
And was that the start then, that once you've done that bit, or had you always known you had a desire?
I think from a kid I'd read about it. I thought I want to do that one day.
So it was swimming your sport then?
No, triathlon. So my dad got me into triathlon at the age of 9, so 1991, when triathlon wasn't too popular, that's when I started doing the swimming, biking and running with my dad. And swimming's always been my favourite.
And did you have some sort of natural talent for swimming?
Not particularly, it was just my favourite, swimming in the open water. Unfortunately it's the shortest bit of a triathlon though. So I never swam for a swimming club, whereas my wife Louise, you know, she's a proper swimmer. I'm a triathlete who loves open water swimming.
So okay, so for the coast bit then, so 10 years ago you've done a relay.
Yeah.
You were dabbling with triathlons. Not dabbling, you're a good...
Yeah.
Let's cut the chase. You've got a fantastic full Ironman time, haven't you?
Yeah, I did a couple of outlaw races. My best were 11:29, so I was happy with that. And I think I got to know the people of Long Eaton Running Club when I tried to dabble in those crazy 24-hour, what they call thunder runs.
Well, I was going to bring up the thunder run, because I was doing the thunder in the same year. The difference being, I was doing it in a team of 5, you were doing it in a team of 1.
So, well, I attempted it The furthest I ever got was, I think it was 110 kilometres,
Oh,
and that was a painful experience.
yeah, but that, if I break that down, that is still 60 something miles.
Yeah, 68, 69 miles it was.
Yeah.
And that was just broken. I think it's about 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. My dad was supporting me. I said, let's pack this in.
I remember.
Walk.
Well, I remember it because on a few laps we would see you out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to put it to you. I think you're wired slightly differently from the everyday person, in that 10Ks, 5Ks, half marathons, I don't think they cut it for you.
Ian, I'm too heavy to run this bit.
Okay, we'll walk it. I don't think they cut it for you. I think you've got some sort of long distance pain, suffering.
To me, it's the mental challenge of not knowing whether you're going to finish. That's the fun bit for me. So I'm not the fastest runner or swimmer, but doing these types of endurance events where it's as much about a mental challenge as anything, that's what ticks the box for me.
So it's not the physical, because you know that physically you can just keep going.
Yeah.
You must have learned that over the years.
Yeah, and part of that's it's in the mind as well. So all the training I did for the channel this time, a lot of it's just building up the distance slowly, up to 8-10 hour swims.
So let's look at the training that you've done.
Yeah.
You go out, and I saw your Stravas around Windermere, I don't know. So tell me, how do you build up that length of time, and how do you motivate yourself to do that?
It's just about focusing on the end goal, I think. So as I said, the channel's something I've wanted to do for a very long time, maybe 10-15 years. So you just kind of write yourself a program and figure out how you're going to build up hour by hour and set yourself some milestones. So I think it was the end of May, beginning of June, I thought I want to do a 5-hour swim, and that's when I went down to Spring Lakes, did a 5-hour swim down there.
So you got pretty close to the team at Spring Lakes. If you don't know, Spring Lakes is a lake in Long Eaton, which you can do surfing, or not surfing, water skiing,
stand-up paddleboarding,
yeah.
Pedalows, man-made beach there. It's a great facility.
And it's only been open for
About 18 months.
Yeah, so and I think that they embraced your swimming, didn't they?
Yeah, they were really supportive, and got to know quite a few of the guys down there, the lifeguards, asking me why am I doing these long swims.
I'm asking you the same question. So you're in there for 5 hours. When you get in the pool, or in the water, sorry, and you think, I'm here for 5 hours.
Yeah.
How do you just keep going?
It's about breaking it down. So I didn't think about swimming for 5 hours. I was doing 2 laps of Spring Lakes, which is about 3.2k. So swimming about 2 miles an hour, and I just thought 2 laps, stop for some food and drink, just keep doing that. So I didn't really think about the 5-hour swim in Spring Lakes, and just kept ticking off the laps.
And how does the time go? Do you feel like the time moves quickly, or?
I think you get into a state of just switching off and relaxing. So, like with the distance running, I think, I'm not fast, but when I go out for a long run, when I'm fit enough, I find it quite a relaxing thing to do.
So it's like a zen state of mind.
Yeah. And lots of people say, what are you thinking about? And not a great deal. Swimming, not thinking about my technique, so keeping a nice long stroke, high elbows, keeping a good tempo and rhythm.
So how many of these, I'm going to call them mammoth swims, did you do? Because I mean, to prepare yourself for a channel crossing, which, tell me, how long is that in miles?
21 miles, 34 kilometres.
Okay,
roughly.
And that's the shortest route presumably, is it?
Yeah.
So let's give or take.
You actually swim a huge S shape because of the tides.
Yeah, so you're
going across, yeah.
So you're going to do more than 21 miles,
yeah.
Which I cannot fathom. But anyway, so you're doing these long swims. Look, 5 or 6 hours feels humongous, but it's only a quarter. Well, not distance, but it's less than half what you're going to do on the actual event.
Yeah. So in terms of how many long swims did I do, I was going down to Dover quite a bit, practicing the sea down there with a guy called Kevin Murphy who swam the channel 34 times.
Now, and he's the guy that's just lost the record.
Yeah.
To the, well, I think
he's lost, well, it's debatable actually, because the female record is actually higher than the men's.
Yes.
So Alison Streeter, she swam it 42 times, I believe. Kevin Murphy, king of the channel, 34. So this summer we saw an Australian lady, Chloe McCardle, come over, and I think she's now overtaken Kevin.
Yes, I think
got up to 35.
You've met Kevin, and he's helping you out.
Yeah, so I trained down there with him for a few weekends, and you know, he took me to areas that I hadn't swam in before, just to experience the strong tidal currents. And I mean, just to give you an idea how strong these currents were, normally in the pool I'd swim 500 meters in, say, about 7 or 8 minutes. We were swimming down the beach towards this pier and then back up into the tide. I was swimming 25 minutes for 500 meters.
So 3 times
the
length of time it would normally take you.
It was crazy.
And at that stage you think, geez, I've bitten off more than I can chew, and this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Did you have any doubts, having gone through the training, having worked yourself, that it was going to be a tough event?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be tough, and one of the first things when I got out, I said to my team who were on the boat, God, that were hard. And then a lot of them laughed at me, you know, why did you not expect that? But
yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to Coach Tim Talks again. Today I wanted to talk to you about stretching. Now, hopefully you all know that a post-run stretch is really important to help you in terms of your recovery post-run, ready to go again another day. So I wanted to share with you my absolute favourite stretch, the one I look forward to most after a run, and this is for your glutes, so big powerful muscles in your bum. I'm going to show you the stretch. I want you to have a little go at this afterwards. So here we go. So just going to cross one leg over the knee, hold onto our knee with both hands, and we're going to pull it across our body towards our shoulder just until we feel a bit of a pull, and we're just going to hold it there for anything from 20 to 30 seconds. We're not going to overstretch. Just keep feeling that pinch. And just feel that, just muscle relaxing as you're doing it as well. Have you breathing nice and calm. And then we'll shake that one out. And then we'll go with the other side. So again, foot over by your knee, hands onto your knee that's elevated, and then just pulling across your body towards your opposite shoulder. Honestly, I feel like I could sit here all day. Definitely my favourite stretch. Have a go, see how you find that as well, and I'll see you next time.
So as training progresses, and I think this training journey was a number of years, wasn't it? It's not something you just do.
Oh yeah, so 10 years since my original channel crossing as a 3-man. 2 years later I did a 2-man with a friend of mine. So that took us 16 hours almost because of the tide.
And is that 8 hours each?
So we were doing 2 hours on, 2 hours off. And then, yeah, since then, you know, I've been dabbling in all kinds of endurance sports, some successfully, some not. And then the last 2 years I've just been training solely for the channel. So that's why I've dropped off the running with anyone at Long Eaton and haven't been down there in a while, but I'm looking forward to getting back into running now.
we'll come on to running in a bit. Don't worry. Let's keep going on about the swimming, because I think, look, you said the last 2 years have been really focused on the swimming. Now, I think I'm right in saying last year you were set to have a crack at it.
Yeah, I was meant to go. My slot, you book a slot for the channel, you have to book it 3 years in advance.
3 years?
It's so popular, yeah.
Because you can't just rock up and do it, can you?
No. There's only a certain number of pilot boats that are registered with the English and French Coast Guards and the Channel Swimming Association.
So what's the logistics behind it when you're trying to book it up? You've got to...
So you contact a pilot first and ask them what slots they've got, and they tell you if they've got slots on a neap tide or a spring tide. And they tend to book somewhere between 2 and 4 swimmers on a tide. And then when it gets to your day, you're just waiting for the wind to drop, basically, so that the waves drop and you've got a flattish day to swim on.
And so what happened last year then?
So last year I booked a neap tide at the end of September, which is right at the end of the season, and we just had two or 3 weeks of wind. So I waited, spoke to my pilot, and the sea was cooling down into October. Carried on waiting. Actually went down to Dover to check that I could still swim. You know, because you're tapering.
Yes, yeah.
So you
want to know you can do it, don't you?
Mentally you start to feel like you're losing fitness because you've been resting. So it'd be like training for a marathon and not knowing what day the start date was on. So it's pretty tricky from that perspective.
And when you mention the temperature, let's be clear, it's not a swim you do in wetsuits, is it?
No. You're
out in the smugglers.
You're only wearing budgie smugglers.
Yeah,
and one hat. It's all quite strict codes and rules to uphold the tradition of channel swimming. So yeah, no wetsuits allowed. So that's why typically people put on a bit of weight for channel swimming, a bit of fat to guard against the cold.
And that's just going to give you a little bit of insulation.
Yeah.
And would it be right to say you successfully did that?
Ian, I've been very successful at putting on weight this year. So,
but it was done for a reason.
Yeah,
so
well, that's what I've told my wife.
Yeah, you're there with your budgies, and what else are you going to lubricate your body with to protect you from either the cold or...
In the past, people have used duck fat or goose fat rather to try and guard against the cold, but I think it's been proven these days that it doesn't do much apart from stopping the chafing.
Yep.
So all I used was Vaseline anywhere that chafes, and to be honest with you, after 13 hours in salt water, everywhere chafes.
Wow.
So you covered myself in Vaseline, especially on my shoulders, my chin.
So, and that's it, that's all you've got?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that last year, we know, how easy was it to mentally pick yourself back up after doing the training and getting yourself mentally prepared for it to be cancelled?
I mean, yeah, I was gutted. Driving home on my own from Dover last October, I was completely gutted. And I didn't swim for, I think it was like 4 or 6 weeks.
Because it was just too much to...
I'd just done so much training and I was gutted, so I took some time off swimming, and then my swim coach Mel Berry said to us, we need to start picking this up again, get back into it, and we ended up doing a 10k swim in Harvey Haddon Pool. I think it was on Christmas Eve or something daft like that, as a bit of a Christmas challenge. So we did a 10k swim together, and that kind of got me back in the zone.
So you found your mojo?
Yeah. And then you know, moving into this year, I knew what I needed to do, pick up some speed in the pool through the first 3 months of the year, and that was all going to plan. And then we all know what happened then, COVID lockdown.
Yeah, so how did you cope with that?
Well, I was again pretty gutted because I had 7 weeks out of the pool, and that's when I started to do some biking and running again, and a bit of rowing just to try and keep up general fitness.
And at this stage, did you think it's not going to happen? Did your mind sort of go, or was you always believing it would happen?
I guess none of us knew how long this was going to last, and at the start I was kind of optimistic that it would be a period of months and then would come out of this. So that's why I decided to keep as fit as I could, land-based sports. And then I think it was the beginning of May when the swimming lakes started to open. So
You must have breathed a sigh of relief there.
yeah, I did. But part of the problem to start with was all of the social distancing and limited time slots meant that you could only do 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh,
Which, you know,
you've barely got going.
it was good to get back in the water, but I was never going to get fit for a channel swim with 1 hour swims. I've lost my swim fitness, so I was doing 3 or 4 hour swims a week, picked up a reasonable bit of swim fitness again, and then by that time everyone was starting getting used to the COVID measures, and that's when Spring Lake said to me, join as an annual member and you can swim as many hours as you want. So by the end of,
That was the golden ticket.
yeah, by the end of May I knew I could get fit for it.
And since then, you've done your long swims,
Yeah.
you've got yourself ready.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's talk about the actual event itself.
yeah.
You go down, what, a few days beforehand?
No, I went down on the night before because you don't know when your start date's going to be.
Okay.
So just wait for the call, constantly watching the weather forecast and seeing when the wind's going to drop.
And what was the weather like when you went down?
So the day I went down it was fairly breezy, but the weather was forecast to improve overnight, and the swim start was at high tide on Thursday night, Thursday the 6th. So we started in the water about 1 AM.
Okay, 1 AM start. Well, I'm here now with Tomo. We've both done 10k. How was your 10k?
It was good. It was hard. It was good.
And was it a tempo time that you're happy with?
Yeah, very good.
Okay. Well, we've had a good hard tempo session. We've had a great interview with Paul. We've got a lot more stuff to look forward to, so stay tuned for more episodes and we'll see you next week.
Bye.